I mean, you should see the cars in the driveway that these guys have purchased, and the growth that's been made in this room, and the people, every single one of you guys coming here with nothing, nothing. And the buildup and what's come about from everyone's sobriety and work and commitment and, gaining power and all the stuff that's happened here. And just really, we just need to take a second and collectively look at the growth that's happened in this room over the last 6 months, over the last year, and just kind of see how big it is and how much the energy has improved. And, when you come here and you're in this energy, what you can realize is we all know that one person can really screw up the energy of an entire room. And this energy isn't screwed up, which tells me that everyone here has this good energy tonight. And everyone's providing it and bringing it to the room. And, we don't celebrate clean time, and we don't usually stand up and congratulate each other for the fact that we stopped killing ourselves. But, really, if you look around, we need to celebrate it. And we need to say, this is, this is kind of a miracle, us all sitting here and how far it's come and the progress that people have made. And it's beautiful. We have people here that started companies, people here that got new jobs, new careers. Hannah in the real estate business, and these guys have started a construction company. And I mean, every single person in here has made progress with their families, and really incredible stuff going on. The people that are here currently, and the commitment and the learning and listening and really grabbing onto the material here, and it's just an honor. For me, it's an honor to sit and watch your guys' lives and get to be a part of it. And it's not a corny thing, I hope, because to me, it's a fucking honor. And it's an honor to be part of the families that are here and get to see the growth that they have. And, I just get the pleasure of sitting and watching it all. It's just what I do. I get to sit and watch it all and watch it progress. And it's like, I get to see Kyle helping people and Lindsay helping people, and, really the amazement of how far they've come and to be able to do that. And each person's bounce back, just watching people struggle with difficulties, and then the quick way that everyone snaps back and comes back when they're struggling. And we don't punish here. We don't have any, you got to go thing. And just the miracle of people being able to turn it around without any consequences, just coming here and being able to do that. And then also, really, really, just seeing the collective camaraderie and the friendships that are being developed here and everything that's going on. It's just, if you're not here, we need to start being able to feel this in person, because it's really great. We made a lot of progress, and I know for sure, pretty soon I'm going to be needing jobs from these guys, and I'm going to be asking them to borrow money and all kinds of things someday, but the care that each one of you has and really amazing group, and the climate that you're all having to get sober in. You guys don't understand, you're getting sober in these times in your life, but you don't understand what it used to be like. And what it used to be like is there was not this climate. So you have to admire the work you're doing, because, we got Carolyn.
Yeah, she's 2 seats in front of her. Hey, hi, Carol. Right here by Becky.
Little intermission. Give you guys time to get settled. Come on in.
Hey, guys, welcome. Becky's seat. Right in front row. You're welcome.
So really watching and admiring how the current group of people are getting sober, and what kind of climate, what would it be like for me, guys? I just want you to know I got sober in 2011, and in 2011 most people got sober for a financial reason. Most people got sober because they couldn't afford their habit anymore. It was literally the number one reason people would get sober. You just can't afford your habit. You can't go buy $100 worth of heroin out every day, and you cannot continue it. So you spent most of your time with a heroin habit. You spent most of your time dope sick, and you were dope sick 4 days, and then maybe you had money for 3, and then maybe sometimes weeks you had money for 4. And it made it got so difficult. In fact, I remember one of the reasons why I got sober, this is truly true. I got sober because I was staying in a motel for one night up on Pack Highway. There's actually Des Moines Road, and there's a Motel 6 right there right before you go under the freeway. Everyone knows what I'm talking about here. And then right up on the Pack Highway is the Walgreens. Mm-hmm. And I'm by myself, and I have about $30 of heroin left, and my crack pipe's empty, and I'm out of crack, and I just got this 30 bag of heroin. I didn't want to do the heroin before I ran out of crack because I wanted the heroin to come down on. But then I got done with the crack, and I realized I didn't have a needle. And I had like $4 in my pocket. So, hey, I'll just run up to Walgreens and buy a needle. They always sold them as a single back then, you know. But I went in, and that Walgreens had changed their policy, and they no longer sold needles by the single. You had to buy a $20 box. And that really was one of the initiators for me to say, I can't keep doing this. I can't even afford the needles. I can't keep buying the needles and doing. And so this prompted me, because of the difficulty, it prompted me to get sober. And because of the difficulty of money, you couldn't sustain a habit. And now, you know, you can. You can't just be out there on the streets and steal what you want and get as much dope as you want, and you never run out. And I admire you all for sitting in this room and having the, you know, really the effort and the commitment to not going to do that, because, geez, you could. It's on every corner. It's on every 7-Eleven. The climate is really tough. And for you guys to be getting sober in this climate, my hat's off to you, because that's not something that's easy. It's not easy when it's in your face everywhere you go, and you can't even go get gas in your car without someone offering it to you. So, you know, you guys should really, not only are you struggling with staying sober, you're struggling with your identities, you're struggling with the housing crisis, you're struggling with the job market, you're struggling with inflation. You don't know you're struggling in inflation yet, probably because you know you don't have enough money to know, but you are. You're going to struggle with inflation and all this stuff that you guys are really, you know, and then I'm sitting here talking about love and connection and all that bullshit. And, you know, that must be blowing your mind, because now you got to think of that shit. And then we're talking about power, and you got to think of that. And all the while you're just trying to put $5 in your bank account so it don't bounce because of your Spotify. And you got a lot of shit going on, you know, and sometimes I just gloss over that shit. And so I want to take the time to really acknowledge you guys and say, listen, man, I don't know how you do it. I got sober because I couldn't carry on a habit. I got sober because I couldn't do it anymore. You know, I always say this, we as addicts, we do this thing. We do things that are real easy until they get hard. And that's what I did. I did everything that was real easy until it got hard. And that's a lot different from the way that you have to do it in life. Anything that's good in life is really hard until it gets easy. Anything. That's anything. That's eating right, saving money, working out. Your muscles are really sore, and then they're not. Going fast in a boat, really hard, and it's not. Everything that's good is hard until it gets easy. And that's just not the way we're used to living. We do things that are easy, and then they start getting hard. Oh, maybe I'll quit. We'll take easy money, but I don't know about that hard money. But you guys aren't having to do that. You're having to do really hard things right now, and they're going to get easier. And so, one, thank you for doing it, and thank you for letting me be a part of it and seeing it. And I just had to acknowledge all that, because I've been feeling real amazed lately about what's going on. I'm real amazed with, you know, Kyle and Lindsay and Jeff and everyone, and Travis and Cam and Ryan, and just the lack of complaining. They never complain, not to me anyways. And just the effort that's given every day. So that's all for my rant for that. So, you know, part of people asking, you know, what is it that we're doing here and what goes on here? I would like to believe that what goes on here is powerlessness to power. And what we're talking about would then be all these different pathways. And I've given you some of the pathways recently. If somebody wants to go from powerless to powerful, the first thing they got to start looking at is they got to start looking at their complaints. And we gave you that one, that, you know, if a person is powerless and can't make a difference in their life, well, you better start right there at the doorway of complaint. You better start looking into these complaints, and you better start seeing which ones you're whining about, and which ones that are true, and which things you need to fix. And you got to look at this doorway first. And then I've been watching everyone, you know, people come to me with a sickness. Everyone says addiction makes people sick. What do you mean? What does that mean? Addiction makes a family sick. Well, I'll tell you what a family comes in the way the sickness presents. One of the ways that a sickness presents is victimization. The sickness presents itself in blame. The sickness presents itself in a lack of responsibility. So a family begins to blame each other. A family begins to say, it's not my fault, it's someone else's fault. An addict presents sickness, and the sickness is, my life's not my fault. My life's not my responsibility. I didn't do it. The judge screwed me. I didn't have a good childhood. On and on and on with the blame. And that's one of the ways the sickness and the powerlessness presents. And then a family gets together, and another way that it presents is anger and hatred, and a family bickering. And, usually it's the father that's upset. And then another way that it presents, and the way that I want to talk about tonight, is it presents in this form of agreeability, just this agreeableness, this ability for people to agree when they don't agree. And one thing that's been a constant this week, and it's been everywhere, it's been with families that we met, and it's been with addicts that are here, and it's been this real big problem that people have with being agreeable. And we've talked about it in this really tough. Who is that just moved? Yeah. So what we see it presenting, and the way that we see it presenting, I see it presenting with families. Do you know how many families come to me and they tell me that their addict kid has a plan? And how long have they been agreeing with this plan and being very agreeable? And so you're sitting here, and it forces you to be agreeable in situations that you don't agree. And I want you to start thinking how crazy that is. I'm agreeable in situations that I don't agree. What causes that? What gets a human being to the point where they are agreeing when they don't agree? What is that? What is that powerlessness that leads me to fear this so much that I must agree when I disagree? And I start becoming hyper agreeable. I start saying yes to everything. Sometimes if you were to go to a detox center and you were really dope sick and you went in there and you said, I need a bed. A lot of times, I remember we sent the kid to detox one time, and they convinced the kid to sign a contract for $20,000 so he could go lay down. Because that was his out-of-pocket cost, and they didn't tell his parents that, but they sat down with the kid and they said, listen, you can come in and detox and you can have a bed, but you're just going to have to agree to pay $20,000 to us over the next 5 years. The kid said yes. And I also know that we can experience this with our drug dealers. We could be in a place where we needed another hit, or we needed something really bad, and he could say, I'm going to charge you 10 grand for this hit, or this shot, or these pills, and you're going to pay me over 2 years, and we'd sign that contract too. So with the demoralization of the drug addiction and the demoralization the family faces, this problem of agreeable starts happening because it becomes easy, or because I'm too weak. And what I see in the way that people come to me, and it's the nastiest thing. I want you to know that people that are agreeable, it's one of the nastiest sicknesses I've ever seen. People that agree when they disagree. People that are agreeable to your face, but they disagree with what you're saying. And I'm not talking about opinions here, by the way. I'm talking about somebody says, I really like vanilla ice cream. And then you say, I do too, when you don't. I'm talking about, do you think that we should go to the movies? And you say, yes, I think we should go to the movies, but you don't want to go to the movies. I'm talking about, hey, this guy wants to take me out on a date and I'm going to go because I'm agreeable and I don't want to tell him no. And this weakness that starts happening and sickness that starts developing. So, well, again, this lack of power, and my power, one of the pathways is through my complaints, but the other one, what does it take for me to not be agreeable? What does it take for me to be a person that can step up and tell truth? How do I learn this process? So all these processes to power are also the pathway to true self, or what's called integrity. What's called me, the one who I am, the person that I am, the spirit that I am. And these pathways all get me there. They shed me of this persona that I put on, but I have to start doing the work. And so one of the pathways is this idea that, how many of you do that tonight? How many of you shake your head when the boss has an idea and say, that's great, boss, I'll do it, and then go home and talk shit? How many of you sit with your friends and say, you like that when I don't? How many people agree when you disagree? This is a crazy concept, but I see it in masses. I also have there's a thing that they begin to say that, addicts become victims because people take advantage of drug addicts. You ever hear that? This treatment center was taking advantage of drug addicts. This sober living owners was taking advantage of drug addicts. You ever hear this kind of stuff? Any of you in this room feel that way, that you can be taken advantage of? Any of you in the room feel that you're not the perpetrator in all of this that's happened? We demolish a whole family. We manipulate our way through life. We con, we steal, we rob, we take advantage of people, and the world thinks that we can be taken advantage of. And here we sit. Why would you want that? Why would you want the world to believe that you could be a victim? Why would you want the world to believe that you could be taken advantage of? And why would you want to be agreeable when you disagree? So these pathways start when you make a commitment to the truth, the commitment to what you want to say, power. It's risky though. Don't disagree with me. I'll make you look stupid. Over and over, people tell me, Art, it's hard for people to talk around you. They're scared. So fucking what? You think I should change? What should I do? Should I sit in this room and go, I got to be more safe for you guys? Come on, no, say something true. Do you guys understand this about truth? Do you know when you're sitting in a room and it's not true? Do you know how your body feels? It feels tense. It feels uptight. You know something's wrong. You know what the truth does? It relaxes you. It's like, So maybe what you're afraid of is when you talk, maybe you're afraid that what you're saying ain't true. Or maybe you see people getting tense. And maybe that's why you don't have power. So you want to argue with me? It's tough. I know. You want a therapeutic environment here tonight? Shut up. Power. Grow up. Art, I don't like that. I disagree. Hey, this person likes me. I don't like you. Stay away from me. I ask people if they want to go to a Mariners game. I asked someone if they want to go to a Mariners game. She said, yes, that'd be fine. Yes, that'd be fine. Here's the worst part about agreeable. You agree to someone's face and then you do the exact opposite. And I don't know if you've ever felt what it's like on the other end of that. So people see me and they go, Art, you're not agreeable. I know, but I know what it feels like on the other end of it. You don't know what it feels like to agree with someone in their face, to tell your family you're going to do something and then don't do it. Say, yes, I'll do that and then not do it. Yeah, take me to treatment. I commit. I'm going to go. Yeah, you get dropped off and then you go, what the fuck? And then you leave. And you're agreeable because you didn't have the balls to say the truth right there in front of your family. And so you got real agreeable. Now, listen, this is tricky. This agreeableness is tricky because you're also here because you do stupid shit. So you're going to have to negotiate your agreeableness because you also don't want to be difficult. And you also want to know what's best for you. So where you have to decipher when you're doing this, am I being agreeable? Well, what's the truth first? What's the truth? Well, I want to leave treatment. Well, is that good for you? No. Well, then don't do that. So in order to not be agreeable, you have to first be able to articulate and feel your body and understand what's true and what's not true. So you first have to know that. But a lot of people come here and they're agreeable because it's right to be agreeable because I don't know what to do, what's best for my life. So I'm going to agree with you. Okay, now that's fine. But what about when your body tensed up? What about when you're doing something that's against your values? What about you're doing something that isn't right? Then what do you do? So as you're navigating this thing in early recovery and you're going along this thing of like, I'm an agreeable person, how do I know when it's right to be agreeable? And how do I know when I'm being weak? And how do I know when I'm being two-faced? So you need to understand it. The way that you're being agreeable and being two-faced is when your body's tensed up and you disagree and your body's tensed up and you're doing it anyways. And the way that you know, oh, okay, this is the right thing to do in being agreeable is when your body's relaxed and you're probably fighting some temptation and you're doing the right thing. So you really have to learn what it is that's true inside of you first. You have to get to this place. So part of the problem with the people that I've been dealing with just this week that are agreeable is they don't know what they want. They don't know what's true and what's not true. They don't know how to feel their own bodies. If you're tensed up right now, well, then you'd have to figure it out. Don't agree with me. But if you're relaxed, well, that's probably because it's the truth and you can go along with it. But if you sit in a room and then the truth's not being told and you just sit there and you go, and then you walk out and you tell your friend it was all bullshit in there, that's the powerlessness shit we're talking about. So here we are dealing with all this shit. And in the meantime, I'm going to throw on power to you. I'm going to throw on making a difference. So you got to handle your money. You got to make sure your Spotify is paid. You got to get a car. You got to get some food. You got to be able to feed yourself. You got to be able to pay rent. You got to be able to do all this shit. And then you got to actually find out what's true in your life so that you can have power. See, on the other end of it, when somebody's I have power. So I don't get to face the other end of it. You don't, and if you don't have power, you don't get to see the nastiness of it. Oh, Art, we trust you. We're going to do. I've seen families. We trust you. We're going to do exactly what you say. This was a great meeting. You're a genius. Oh, man. Thank you for meeting with us and taking the time out of your day, Art. Oh, God. You're amazing. And then we hear they talk shit and they said, I don't know what I'm talking about. It's devastating because it starts leaving you in this place in the world where you don't know. You look at people as all nasty. You think they're all doing that shit. So guess what? If no one's being two-faced to you, you know why? No, if no one is. If no one is being two-faced to you, that's because you're powerless. So when you start understanding power, you'll understand people absolutely got to be two-faced to you because they absolutely can't stand up to you. And then you got a decision as you're holding that power. What do I do? Well, I'm going to try to bring it down a little bit. Fuck them. They're going to have to grow some balls. They're going to have to disagree when they disagree. And that's on them. But again, if you're sitting here and you're very agreeable, guess what? It's easy for you. It's easy for you to sit in the lap of to have that luxury. I would love that luxury of be able to sit in rooms and just be quiet and having no one know I'm there and then go and talking shit about the room. What a luxury you have. To sit in or maybe you're in your own head and you're like, yeah, that's bullshit. That's bullshit. This is bullshit. And you join the meeting and you got that luxury of just getting off and getting in your car and talking about what I said. And telling me how wrong it is. Ooh, nasty, nasty shit. Really. Now, we all know why we got there. Like someone said in our group the other day, we didn't start out there. We weren't kids that were agreeable. We were real decisive when we were younger, weren't we? We really told people how it was. I remember when I said I was never going to smoke weed again or never going to smoke weed in my life. And I used to look at my friends that smoked weed and go, how you losers. I was very decisive. I was very strong. I took stands. So again, that's where we're back and that's where you arrive. this thing towards power is going to be there's several pathways here toward finding my true self. One, I go ahead and look at how inauthentic I get authentic with my inauthenticities. I look into my complaints. I see when I'm being a fraud. I watch myself. I feel that agreeableness, and then I start seeing it just kind of get on me. And I walk out of a place where I've been agreeable, and I just kind of Eddie Haskell myself. That's a Leave It to Beaver reference if you guys don't know. Eddie Haskell was very agreeable. He was a nasty, nasty little dude. Parents would come in. Hi, Ward. Hi, June. How are you? Oh, yeah, we're just having a great day. And then he was a little shit talking, nasty little thing as soon as the door closed. Little scheming, plotting, nasty. But don't put that past you. You face people with power, you'll be a little nasty, scheming, plotting motherfucker too. Trust me. It turns you into it. I face people with power and I do the same shit. It's tough. It's tough facing people with power. Much easier facing people you can dominate and they won't come back at you. But then you get enough power where you start realizing you have power and you start realizing you can do what you want, but then you got to put it away. You got to try to bring out it in others. Oh, come on, man. You tell me. You tell me. I'll listen. And they still won't say. What is it? What are you thinking? Nothing. Powerless. Anyone ever asked, what are you thinking? And you say nothing, you're powerless right there. For some reason, you're scared. You can't say it. Powerless. What are you thinking? Nothing? Really? You ever in your life been thinking nothing? Ever? Powerless. Pathways to power. One, I'm going to stop being agreeable, but I'm not going to be difficult. Difficult is, I don't care what the truth is. I'm just not going to be agreeable. That's difficult. Difficult is nothing. I'm just going to disagree every time you say something. I've seen difficult. It's like borderline opposite defiance disorder, borderline personality disorder, just difficult. The sun's orange. No, it's not. The sky's blue. No, it's not. It's just difficult. That's unhappy. That's miserable. But now knowing the difference between when you're hearing truth and when you're hearing bullshit and having the ability to say it, that's running from being agreeable. How many times is a company running? The company is going along and they're going along and the company goes out of business. And then 50 people that work for that company go, I know what should have happened. We should have done it like this. Oh, you're a nasty with the luxury you have, the irresponsibility of being agreeable. Every parent on here, when your kid said, I'm just going to go to outpatient treatment and run around today. And you knew in your bones, in your heart, in your soul that it wouldn't work. And you went, okay, let's try that. Nasty. Rather than going, hey, fuck that. And I'm not pinpoint, believe me, there's not one person on here, their kid wanted to go to outpatient treatment. There's 100%. Every kid tried it. Every kid said, I'm going to do the methadone. I'm going to do the Suboxone. I'm going to do it on my own. Every kid said it. Every parent believed it. It's only when you start getting real low, when you finally, you know what I call powerless when it comes to addiction sometimes. When parents get their power, it's kind of like, you know, my friend Chris was a great athlete and he was a great boxer. And we would box down in the thing. We each put on one glove, and he would put on the left glove and I would put on the right glove. And he was bigger than me. He was double my size. And then he would punch me with the left glove, and he was good. I couldn't get nothing on him, but I would get powerless, and he would punch me down. And then finally I would rear back and I would get him one good one, as hard as I could get him with the right hand. That's me finally exhibiting power after powerlessness, after powerlessness. And that's what happens with addiction. It beats a family down until they finally do the right thing after they've been beat up so badly they can't move their face, they can't move their body. And then a parent says, fuck this. Now I got to tell the truth. But it doesn't have to be that way. We don't have to be agreeable to nonsense. We don't have to be agreeable to failed plans. You all are working for a company now. And maybe because you're the owner, you don't think you're responsible. You are. I had these two alcoholics, Jeff and Brian. They checked into my program. They were 55-year-old men. Both have died from alcoholism, by the way. 55-year-old men. They didn't stay long. They were in a white Toyota pickup. And we were going to meet them at a job site in Bonnie Lake. And I am not kidding you that they ended up at Mount Rainier. Mount Rainier. And when asked, Brian, who was sitting in the passenger side, I said, why did you guys end up at Mount Rainier? And he said, Jeff was driving. It is like a little sofa sitting in a little tiny, he's riding on the sofa towards Mount Rainier. And he didn't have, you know, have you ever read the book Malcolm Gladwell's The Outliers?
What? Sorry.
Malcolm Gladwell, the book called The Outliers. In Asian culture, there was a reason. Well, it's a book about anomalies and a book about things that happen in life. And there was all these Japan airliners crashing and a lot of Asian airliners crashing. And the reason they were crashing was the co-pilot was agreeable, and it was his culture that he couldn't direct the pilot. So if he couldn't correct him.
Question authority.
Yeah, he couldn't question authority. So they had to actually change the culture of these things to have these airliners not going down. They would circle the thing till they ran out of gas because they wouldn't question the tower and tell the tower they needed to land because they were out of fuel. They would be running into a mountain. The navigator pilot knew they were running into the mountain and would not correct him. He said, hey, sir, I don't think you're going the right way. And the guy said, yes, I am. And he just shut up and they hit the mountain. This is happening on a regular basis if you read that book. And so that's how real trouble happens with agreeable. And you can all see families of addiction have agreed their way into this.
There's a show on Netflix where they this guy through a series of little tiny agreements and things that they kind of go into collaboration on.
He essentially commits murder. I mean, it's not real.
Mhm.
It's all set up, but he thinks he's committing murder. And out of 10 people, like 8 of them actually end up thinking they're pushing family and building. And it all starts with these like series of small little defiances and collaborations on like tricking people and being on board until it escalates to that point.
You know, part of the passion that I have behind this topic is because it's the most hurtful topic of my life. I can tell you, I'm not a guy that talks about my trauma, and I'm not a guy that talks about, you know, whatever I went through. I went through my mother dying, my father dying, and I went through addiction, and I went through whatever it is that I've went through. And I'll tell you what the most hurtful, the most pain that I've ever been was caused by people that looked in my face and said they agreed with me and smiled to me every day, and then talked and told me what a piece of shit I was behind my back. And that was the biggest hurt, because not only that, those people that were agreeing with me, I had a severe case of love for. I loved those people, and I thought we were in a loving relationship. And that was the most hurt I've ever been. And so your ability to look at somebody that you don't like and agree, that's no good. It doesn't do anything. Your ability to go to your work and tell your boss he's great when you go talk shit behind his right, it don't do shit. Get some goddamn balls. It don't do shit to work for somebody and say the company's going down because of your boss. Shut the fuck up. That's not how it works. Fix it or quit. Fix it or quit. Look at somebody or leave. I don't like you. I'm out. I do like you. I'm responsible and I'm staying. This is where I want to be. Okay. Or I don't like you and I'm out. Not, I don't like you and I'm staying. This isn't where I want to be. That's powerlessness. I don't like this job. I don't like you and I'm staying. This is where I don't like living here, but I'm staying. That's molestation. Go to your work and molest the place with your agreeableness. Come here. Oh, yeah. It's great. It's great. And talk. No, don't come. Be where you want to be. Eat where you want to eat. Go where you want to go. See truth. Feel it. You know, when we're in this house and somebody's lying about their drug use and somebody's using drugs, there's a complete tension that goes throughout the whole house. You can feel it. It's thick. The whole house's energy is blocked. We all know somebody's lying and somebody's sneaking around the house. And we're all tense. We all live here. And then the person tells the truth. And the house goes, And we all sleep. But not until then. We toss and turn. We can't. Oh, what's going on? The truth relaxes us. Such a relaxing thing when you hear it. The tension of a family dealing with drug addiction in their house. Oh, so tense. No truth. Where you been? Just went to the store. Oh.
For 2 hours?
Yeah. There was my mom. My mom kind of being agreeable. My dad, he didn't go to the store. Yeah. My dad was hilarious. He wasn't agreeable, but it was funny when he was trying, or it was funny when he would just do it sometimes just to like make me look stupid or feel stupid or whatever it was. You know, it's like that meme of the monkey sitting back smoking. He's like, I know you're lying. Just quit, keep talking or whatever. Have you ever seen that meme? The monkey smoking, he's kicked back and he goes, yeah, keep lying. You know, whatever it was. My dad was like that. And so I got in the car and I had been drunk the night before and I had a big fuck painted across my forehead, dark black letters, bold marker colored in all the way. I mean, as dark as you can see. And my dipshit ass just comes running out to my dad picking me up. I'm like 15. I come running out to the car. I jump in the car. I sit down. He goes, what'd you do last night? Nothing. We went to the movies and we had a little dinner. Yeah. My dad's like, oh, yeah? You know? So he's fake being agreeable, you know? And then I get home and I walk into the bathroom and I see my forehead. Oh. One time I was nodded off. He had me drive him to Home Depot. I'm right up there at the light. And I nod off. I'd taken a bunch of perks and hydroxyzine and I'm out. I nod off. And my dad always asked me if I was nodding off. And of course, the answer to 100% of people, 100% of people, when asked, are you nodding off, are just tired. It's never, yeah. And so my dad asked me if I was nodding off and he always asked me and I always said no. And then we were up at the light up there and he goes, hey, I think you're nodding off again. I go, no, I'm not. And he goes, well, look behind you. The traffic was backed up as far as you could see. And he goes, you've sat through 3 green lights. And he just let me sit through the lights. He goes, that's the 3rd green light we just missed. You're going to want to go. Yeah. So I'd like to hear from people. And if you have this problem, because it is a problem, this actual lack of integrity, this true two-facedness that has me going along with plans that I don't like, that has me working for people that I don't think are doing the right thing. You know, that nastiness. It was like, you go into a restaurant, I don't care. I'm not getting into a damn mask conversation. Mask, no mask. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about walking into a restaurant and you go, and every time the person that's telling you to pull your mask up, they never believe in it. And I don't know if they do or not. They might believe in it. But every time you say this is stupid, they go, I know, it's just my boss. He's making me do it. COVID. Don't tell me it's your boss's idea. And if it is your boss's idea, either believe in it or go to your boss and tell him to stuff it.
How many can hear? Well, if the boss is gonna say it's somebody, it's the Department of Health.
Then yeah, again. All right, is our sound gone?
It's back.
Okay. Again, that's the problem. Agreeableness, getting into these predicaments where it goes down the line and it's nobody's fault. It's nobody's idea. Nobody's plan. Powerlessness. And here we all do it. Just going off somebody else's plan, somebody else's idea. And then we look at a guy that comes out and takes a stand and loses his damn restaurant and loses everything and says, I'm not doing it. Oh, that poor guy got his head chopped off. Rather than get down to that restaurant and celebrate him. Because taking a stand and not being agreeable, you get your head chopped off a lot. It ain't fun all the time. But when you start really seeing yourself as nasty, when you're two-faced, when you look your boss and tell him how great he is and then go talk about him behind your back and you start seeing the nastiness of that, you won't be able to live with yourself if you really look close. And remember, everybody thinks you're having trauma or problems or whatever you're having. The truth is a cure for a lot of shit. God, the truth is a cure. Remember, it relaxes your body. The more you tell, the more relaxed you are. It starts being addicting. You can't stop. You start taking a stand, you feel good. Take enough stands, all of a sudden now you got power. You might lose some people though. You might lose some shit along the way. You should be losing people along the way. If you're not, you're probably doing something wrong. Being too agreeable. Let's fix some shit. Fix it or quit. Fix it or leave. That guy riding in the car to the mountain. Where the hell are you going, dude? Turn around. No? Can't do that, huh? Well, then good luck. Bunch of not my faults. Biggest cause of problems here at this house is nobody. Nobody's always doing shit here, man. Nobody left the dishes. Nobody's laundry's in the thing. Nobody didn't make their bed. Nobody ever leaves poop in the toilet. Nobody. Nobody. Nobody clogs the toilet here, but it's clogged all the time. That goddamn nobody. He's a hell of a guy. He's doing all this shit. Running around doing all this nobody shit. Yeah. Who's responsible for this company going under? Nobody. Nobody. Ooh. Yeah. What a prick. Yes.
Guess what his name was?
Nobody.
Arthur.
Oh, really? It was probably me.
Harrison.
See, I like it. Everything's my fault. And then I'm not talking about disagreeing on politics or being disagreeable about that bullshit. Somebody tells me they love Biden. I go, oh, all right. Okay. Somebody tells me they love Trump. I go, oh, okay. I think you're both nuts. And then but somebody tells me that I like Thai food. We should go eat Thai food. No. No. Texture of those noodles is nasty. And you're eating it because you think you're trendy. That's why you're doing it. Yeah. Let's go have fun. You don't like that shit. Yeah. I know. Yeah. Eating that shit because Indian food. I'm gonna take my date out to Indian food. Really?
Lucas, this is what he orders.
Yeah.
Every night, dude. I swear to God, dude.
He might believe I can actually believe Lucas likes it. That's crazy. I believe you. I do. You got to get past the smell and all that, and then yeah.
So Lucas just plugging up the toilet.
Yeah. Guy dating a girl.
I can agree with you though on how hurtful that is. You know, when we're talking.
Yep.
I've had friends, and you kick in with these friends or whatever, and then all of a sudden they just drop off the earth. You know what I mean? Or just drop off, and you're like, "What's up, man?
No, well,
Where you been?" And then they're like, "Oh, I've just been busy."
well, it's like John Gruden. John Gruden, you know, I mean, come on, he's not a tyrant. I mean, this guy's just a coach. He loves football. And this dude's doing his life. He said some stupid shit. We all agree he said some stupid shit. He might have been, you know, but he had tons of friends when he was on top. He had tons of friends when he's coaching the Raiders. And everybody looked at him in the eye and shook his hands. And everyone wanted to be part of Gruden. And everyone probably went to his parties. And everyone did all that shit. When he fell on hard times, everybody knew that he was that. Everybody knew he was a racist. Why didn't you say anything? You knew he was a racist? I knew he was a racist. And by the way, we're in danger of that stuff happening around here. You know that every time somebody that's really difficult here, having a hard time, or maybe using drugs, or maybe struggling to stay sober, or whatever it is, maybe not getting along with everybody, whatever it is, you know, when they leave, there's the big reveal. Everyone sits around and go, I knew that. He was doing that. I didn't tell anybody about that. And he did this behind everybody's back, and he said that. But they wait till he leaves. That's some nasty shit. That goes on here. Too scared to tell a drug addict the truth? Where are we at here? So yeah, you got to fight everything, but listen, taking a stand is the first order of business. Whether that's taking a stand for sobriety, taking a stand for truth, taking a stand for, you know, part of the biggest thing I tell you guys, we always talk about keeping your word here. The biggest part about keeping your word is saying no. That's the biggest part. My family calls, they say, hey, we're all going down to a play that my nephew's in. Are you going to go? I can go, yeah, I'll go. And then I'm not going to go to that thing. And that's nasty. Or I can stand up with power and go, no, I don't go to kids' drama plays. That's ridiculous. I'm going to watch football. And they might not like that. But I'm going to keep my word. If I say I'm going, I'm going. If I say I'm not going, I'm not. But the thing about drug addicts is we get to the point where we don't care about our word anymore. We just start saying yes to everything and then not showing up. So learning to say no. Hey, can you help me move on Friday? No, dude, I got too much going. Won't be there. Hey, can you be here at 9 a.m.? Dude, I suck at getting up at 9 a.m. Probably won't make it. Can we do 10? Somebody disagree with me.
So we have only 10 minutes left. And so we would love, if anybody has any questions, if you want to argue with Art, please step up. Any questions, comments, you new people, we'd love to meet you. And something we forgot to remind everybody in the beginning is we have mom's group tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. So all of you ladies, you don't have to just be a mom, grandmas, sisters, all women, 11 a.m. every Wednesday on Zoom for 1 hour. Please join us. Yeah, if you have something to say or any questions, just use the raise your hand feature or unmute yourself so you can get my attention. Can't figure out how to do that. And we've got about 10 minutes left, so please. And I see Kat. Kat, can I unmute you and introduce you? Art got to meet you at the Run for Recovery, but I just want to introduce you to everybody. I'm so happy you're on here. This is Kat Thamert. A lot of us mamas got to meet her at the Run for Recovery, but Kat is on the Beyond the Battle side. She's the mama of Team Jesse. Jesse passed from fentanyl, June of 2021. So I was so happy when Kat just reached out to me. And, I've been really working on just building the Beyond the Battle side and having the Beyond the Battle here part of Solution Group every Tuesday. And it's been a challenge because a lot of the moms from Beyond the Battle don't see how it could apply. And so I was excited when Kat reached out because it's so applicable to us. I think even more so personally, and I speak from experience because, as you know, I lost my son as well. And so I just so glad you're here, and I hope you will keep coming. And please join us tomorrow morning for Moms Group. We've got other moms that tune in on Wednesdays who are also from Beyond the Battle. That's a lot of times where they start. So you'll be in super good hands. I know you work, and I don't know if it'll work out with your schedule, but if you're available to join us, would love to have you tomorrow morning at 11. Who's this with you?
Fly to Singapore tomorrow.
Oh shoot, we can't hear you.
Oh,
now we can hear you.
yeah.
Let me mute myself.
I fly to Singapore tomorrow, so I won't be here, but this is my fiance, Dennis. So he's been the one helping me get through the last year. So he's been great. So now I'm on here mostly because I want to help my younger son get through what he's doing. So he's battling bad.
Can't hear. So what's he doing?
He will barely leave the he lives with his dad most of the time, and he will barely leave the house. He's drinking a lot. He's smoking weed every single night. He's throwing up. He's doing everything. I mean, he's not working. He's not going to school, and he's just the greatest kid in the whole world. He just turned 22, and I've hired people to come up from Arizona, a lady to come up from Arizona to try and counsel him and I've tried to do everything. And I don't know what to do anymore. I feel like I'm going to lose another kid.
Tell you something, Kat. The way we work is differently. And why we would never go counsel your son, and anyone that would think that would be an outcome that's preferable to be able to. How old is he?
22.
22. Okay, we can't hear it again.
Uh-oh. Do what?
We're getting your sound. Hold on. So can you hear me now, Kat?
I can hear you.
Okay, well, we can't hear her.
I can hear both of you.
Okay. Yes. Can we turn that off? What? Is it? Yeah, isn't it because of the laptop?
No, I don't think so.
Oh.
I'm not sure where it is.
So we need her, I need to mute her.
Okay, go ahead and mute. Are you there? Okay. So part of the reason why, and I wouldn't say that it's wrong for any counselor to go and just approach addict or a kid or anyone. And of course that's their job. And if given the opportunity to, for a counselor to do their job, they're going to want to do their job. But we found really early on that this is a family thing, that really starting with the person that's suffering from some type of issue might not be the right starting position. And so for me, getting you in and coaching you as a parent and as a leader and as the one that's really going to be able to make the difference. There's some kind of terminology out there that led families to believe that once their kids started struggling with addiction, that it was out of their control. And that is completely 100% insane. And whoever said that was insane, because it is definitely a lot of things that because we do know for sure that a family can do massive amount of stuff wrong. And so if a family can do tons of things wrong, it's exactly what I say to anyone here. You know how to walk into any room full of people and fuck it up. Everyone knows how to do that. So if you know how to go into a room and mess it up, now go into that room and make it better. See, the problem is that families absolutely make addiction better or worse. They actually can curb it or make it worse. The problem is they don't know how to make it better. That's the only problem. And they only know how to make it worse. And it's not that they know how to make it worse. It's just that they do make it worse because they make all the mistakes that every single family makes. It's just natural. And so the actual coaching starts with, let's first get you in a position where you don't make anything worse, where you don't put fuel on the fire, where you actually learn the techniques to be able to make it better. And that's actually the proper starting position, because without that, you're pushing a rope. So counseling an addict kid when the family's still involved is pushing a rope, and everyone knows what that's like. There's no way to make a difference because he can always run to his safety. So anyways, that's my take on coaching and why it's very important. And that's why we start with the family first. And that's why 100% of our successful cases started there. Go ahead. Unmute.
I'll take any help I can get. I'll do it. I'll do anything for him. I'll do anything to help.
Okay, am I safe? Can you hear me? Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so Kat, yeah, I'll connect. Oh, sorry with this stuff, guys. With me being here live, it's a little trickier. But I'll follow up with you, Kat. We'll get a consultation scheduled totally. So
Okay.
sorry, the sound is weird on our end just tonight, but we'll be back to normal next week. Thanks, Kat and Dennis. Awesome to have you guys.
Thank you.
So I don't know if you want to do this last one because of the sound or.
No, we're really strong with the sound. We're going to close it out.
Yeah, sorry. Angie, you can maybe at group, when you join the crew here at group, you can get your comments or questions in. Sorry, the sound is really funky. So we're going to have Art, we're going to just turn on Art's mic and wrap it up. But thank you, everybody. We'll be back to normal on the sound next week. And just take it over.
It's a lot. And I want to mention to Yvette, and I want to mention to Yvette that, where is she? Yvette. Yeah, Yvette.
I'm here.
I want to mention to Yvette that I wasn't singling you out. I know that you're going through a similar scenario, but honest to God, I wasn't. It was just an example of what families will agree to, and in desperation. And there is a true reason why we become agreeable. We are dominated. We are dominated by things. This stuff is tough, and you didn't start out agreeable. Remember that, especially families of addiction. They started out with what are we going to do? And you started out with action, and that action was thwarted and kind of stopped you in your tracks, and nothing worked. And soon you just gave up and you became agreeable and said, I just got to go with whatever they're saying right now. So you only get pulled by that rope so long. And I get it. But again, I wouldn't go to an economics lecture and disagree. By that, what I mean is that's just difficult. So a lot of times with addiction, it's tough to disagree because you don't know with what you're disagreeing to. And you're agreeable because you're hoping. And, that's not what tonight is about. Tonight is about a little bit of movement towards power and what we're talking about here and how these little pathways lead to power. And I want to just tell you that one of the first powerful moves is a human being can start taking responsibility for their complaints, and they can start looking into them. And we've already stated that one. A person can start telling the truth, and a person can start, really seeing what truth is inside them and feeling it. And when they feel it and they need to disagree, you do so because that your soul depends upon it. And disagreeing when you have to, I say your soul depends on it, because you can only stuff that down so much and be fake so long before you got to use drugs. And so I feel if we can say that the 12-step program says the first step is to admit we are powerless and our life's unmanageable, well, then how does the rest of it not lead me back to power? If I'm admitting that I'm powerless, then please make these other steps about power. And I don't know if that's what everything's about, but I think it is. It's about telling truth. It's about taking responsibility. It's about disagreeing when you have to, but not being difficult. And then it's about also surrender and if I'm going to go to an economics lecture or a financial lecture and I don't know anything, I'm going to surrender to their knowledge. I'm not going to be, I'm going to be agreeable, but I'm not going to go talk shit about them behind their back because I don't know what I'm talking about. So that's how you know. So in recovery, while you're listening and everything, it's not, you can be agreeable, but remember, when you're not hearing truth, your body will get tense. When you're hearing that, and then you're going to go forward and just fakely go along with whatever you don't want to go along with. That's deadly. And that's powerless. So for me, you stay sober, that's great. Congratulations. But if you're still powerless and nothing's happening in your life and you're complaining and whining and blaming, maybe the drug use is a better life if you make it. But again, remind everyone, this is great. It's awesome seeing you guys interested in this material, because I was very interested in it and I still am. And it's so cool seeing all of your progress and seeing everything's going on. And again, thank you for everyone for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.